All right. Chapter 33. In Coconino County, Arizona, is an extraordinary formation. It is known as Coon Butte and as Crater Mountain. Once upon a time, something gouged this part of Arizona. The cavity in the ground is about 3,800 feet in diameter, and it is approximately 600 feet deep. From the rim of the ramparts to the floor of the interior. Out from this cavity had been hurled blocks of limestone, some of them a mile or so away, some of these masses weighing probably 5,000 tons each. And in the formation and around it have been found either extraordinary numbers of meteorites or fragments of one supermeteorite. Behringer, in his report to the Academy of Natural Science, Philadelphia, says that of the traffickers in the meteoric material, he knew of two men who had shipped away 15 tons of it. But Beringer's minimum estimate of the body large enough to gouge the ground is 10 million tons. It was supposed that a main mass of meteoric material was buried under the floor of the formation, but this floor was drilled and nothing was found to support this supposition. One drill went down 1,020 feet, going through 100 feet of red sandstone, which seems to be the natural undisturbed substructure. The datum that opposes most strongly the idea that this pit was gouged by one supermeteoroid is that in it and around it, at least three kinds of meteorites have been found. They are irons, masses of iron shale, and shale balls that are so rounded and individualized that they cannot be thought of as fragments of a greater body and cannot be very well thought of as great drops of molten matter cast from a main incandescent mass, inasmuch as there is not a trace of igneous rock such as would mark such contact. There are data for thinking that these three kinds of objects fell at different times, presumably from origin of fixed position relatively to this point in Arizona. Within the formation, shales were found buried at various distances as if they had fallen at different times. For instance, 7 of them in a vertical line, the deepest buried 27 feet down. Also, shales outside the formation were found buried, but quite as if they had fallen more recently. The hundreds of irons were found upon the surface of the ground, or partly covered, or wholly covered, but only with superficial soil. There is no knowing when this great gouge occurred, but cedars upon the rim are said to be about 700 years old. In terms of our general expression upon differences of potential and of electric relations between nearby worlds, I think of a blast between this earth and a land somewhere else, and of something that was more than a cyclone that gouged this pit. Other meteorites have been found in Arizona. The 85-pound iron that was found at Weaver near Wickenburg, 130 miles from Crater Mountain in 1898, and the 960-pound mass now in the National Museum, said to have been found at Peach Springs, 140 miles from Crater Mountain. These two irons indicate nothing in particular, but if we accept that somewhere else in Arizona there is another deposit of meteorites, almost extraordinarily abundant, such abundance gives something of commonness of nature, if not of commonness of origin, to two deposits. There are several large irons known as the Tuscan meteorites, one weighing 632 pounds and another 1,514 pounds, now in museums. They came from a place known as Iron Valley in the Santa Rita Mountains, about 30 miles south of Tuscan and about 200 miles from Crater Mountain. Iron Valley was so named because of the great number of meteorites found in it. According to the people of Tuscan, this fall occurred about the year 1660. See the American Journal of Science 2-13 290. Upon June 24th, 1905, Behringer found upon the plain about a mile and a half northwest of Crater Mountain a meteorite of a fourth kind. It was a meteoric stone, as different from all the other specimens as one specimen could be from another. Behringer thinks that it fell about the 15th of January 1904. Upon a night in the middle of January 1904, 2 of his employees were awakened by a loud hissing sound and saw a meteor falling north of the formation. At the same time, two Arizona physicians north of the formation saw the meteor falling south of them. For analysis of and description of this object, see American Journal of Science 4-21 353. Behringer, who believes that once upon a time one supermeteorite, of which only a very small part has ever been found, gouged this hole in the ground, writes that a small stony meteorite should have fallen on almost exactly the same spot on this Earth's surface as the great Cannon Diablo iron meteorite fell many centuries ago, is certainly a most remarkable coincidence. I have stated the facts as accurately as possible, and I have no opinion to offer as to whether or not these involve anything more than a coincidence. Other phenomena in Arizona. Upon February 24th, 1897, a great explosion was heard over the town of Tombstone. It is said that a fragment of a meteor fell at St. David, Yarnell, Arizona, September 12th, 1898. A loud, deep thundering noise that was heard between noon and 1 p.m. The noise proceeded from the Granite Range this side of Prescott. From all accounts, a large meteor struck the earth at this time. Upon July 19th, 1912, at Holbrook, Arizona, about 50 miles from Crater Mountain, occurred a loud detonation and one of the most remarkable falls of stones recorded. See American Journal of Science 4-34 437. Some of the stones are very small. About 14,000 were collected only twice since the year 1800. Have stones in greater numbers fallen from the sky to this earth, according to conventional records. About a month later, August 18th, there was another concussion at Holbrook. This was said to be an earthquake.